Okay. Okay, here we are in the Blender Sculpt tools. We're just starting with a basic object here and just using the move tool to pull out a few shapes. And you can see here that I have a skull. It's like a 3D scan skull, and I was using that to initially place the eyes, and then it's helpful for, you know, making sure that the head doesn't get too out of shape. You can just kind of build up on top of it. I was using some reference here, some images of a popular personality, but I just to this point haven't been successful in capturing this personality, so it's still a bit of a mystery. Here you can see I've blocked in the ears as separate objects, and then I'll use the Boolean to bring them in at some point. It's just kind of an easy way to bring ears in. I'm not really too familiar with human anatomy. I think most of the time I work in other areas in art, so this is kind of a step outside of what I'm usually doing. I can't really comment on Blender versus ZBrush because I'm not really too. I've opened ZBrush, but I've not really used it. But here's me bringing the ears in with the Boolean. I think I kind of struggled with that. I did it a couple times, but now they're in. And yeah, using the dynamic topology at the moment in Blender. So it's just adding geometry kind of on the fly, and this is where we got to after about an hour and 45 minutes, I think, somewhere around that. And yeah, not too close to the reference, but I tried again following day, and just trying to push things around a bit. And my goal for this day was to kind of, once I was happy with the overall shape of the head, I used a plugin called Instant Remesher, I think, Instant Mesh, and it's a external tool, but there's a plugin for Blender, and you can just run it from inside Blender. So I think here I created a low poly version of the mesh. It just kind of builds on top of the high poly that you give it, and then I used a multi-resolution modifier to up the resolution, and then a shrink wrap to bring it on top of the high-res dynamic topology. And then now when I'm working just in this multi-res version, and this allows me to start adding some finer detail to the character. I start painting in a few wrinkles in that. You can see that I'm just working. Well, the whole time I pretty much worked with the clay strips and the pinch brush, and then for these face details, I think I used an inflate or something like that with a texture. Here I set up a bit of lighting, and then I rendered in cycles to make it look nice, and that's it.